You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Martinsville Speedway. The SNN Truck Series is here to wrap up the race week in Old Dominion. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Martinsville, Virginia. 2 weeks ago at COTA, Jacob Schneider led 38 of 42 laps to bring home the checkered flag and wound up jumping 17 spots in our point standings, drawing himself ever closer to the top of the pile. Now tonight we look to see who can dominate in this truck series here at the Paperclip in Martinsville. I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and as always, I'm thrilled to be with you every step of the way. From the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, glad to have you in with us tonight, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones here on SRM as we get ready for the final night here in the spring session at Martinsville. Of course, this half-mile track here in the hills of Virginia has been treacherous literally for the last 3 nights. We had 31 cautions Sunday night in the Cup Series, 19 cautions last night in the Xfinity Series, and hopefully the Truck Series can bring it home nice and clean. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but I'll tell you what, this much. I'm excited to see these drivers get her done here as, Patrick Gitter had a strong night last night in the Xfinity Series, Brandon Minto once again finishes on the podium. He goes ahead and just gets it as much as he can done. As I'm watching him here in the 12 machine, as Minto last night here finished in second. Bobby Blazer, of course, captured the checkered flag last night. Dennis Mickelson, in a surprise move, winds up starting in 10th and finishing on the podium last night after all kinds of mayhem was breaking out on the final lap here at Martinsville. So, folks, as we get settled in, we're starting to see some of these drivers post some pretty good lap times for qualifying, as Brunswick, Maine's very own Tane Hodison in the 93 Menards Toyota Tundra is out here wrapping up his second qualifying lap as he hauls out of turn 4 and crosses the start-finish line. Hodison going to jump up to 12th on the timing line. Sean Rogers here in the 44. Of course, usually Sean has a pretty big cheering section in our YouTube.com live chat, so can't wait to see all of them check in. Kalamazoo, Michigan's very own Sean Rogers here on his second lap. He went 24th fastest the first time, got some heat into those tires as he gets the beast mode Chevrolet Silverado into turn 3. We see him hugging that candy cane there on the bottom. It's kind of a raised curb, and as he hauls it across the start-finish line, we saw that truck just absolutely pointed toward the air, and he goes 17th fastest. Claude Furland, our neighbor from the north, now getting cranked up here in the 43 as he rolls it off a pit road. It's been an exciting night, here in the trucks, or an exciting week here in the SNN family of racing seasons. Of course, after Circuit of the Americas 2 weeks ago, Brandon Minto sits atop the pile. He still has no wins. In the Truck Series, Brandon Minto leads the points with no wins. In fact, our top 4, Minto, Hodison, Davies, and Jolie, none of them have a win. Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor, he's got himself a dub on the season. Gabriel Lafreniere and Rich Jett, no wins. They're in 6th and 7th. Jacob Schneider picks up his first win 2 weeks ago at COTA. Chris Claude in 9th has no wins. Ethan Eckert and Jacob Fifield each picked themselves up a win. Jeremy Paris as well. So it's interesting to see how good these truck drivers are as they barrel through the season, and they're able to sit here and be dominant in the point standings even without dominant performances on the racetrack. It just turns out that, Benny Parsons was right. Consistency, consistency, consistency. And, of course, we talk about consistency was Chris Claude just laid down what very well could be his best qualifying effort of the season, as we're going to quick grab him down here. Hey, Chris, it's Dave up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hi, Dave.
7th fastest tonight in qualifying. What do you have under the hood of that Toyota?
Anger. I have anger,
he says.
From last night. Yeah, it was
Folks,
not at all what I was wanting to. We don't have to have a full recap on the Xfinity race last night, but let's suffice it to say, I'll take a little vacation next week at Texas and let some other people have at it, and I'll just look from afar or from race control.
You're always more than welcome to sit here in the broadcast booth and hang out with me. I mean, here's the thing, folks, just to peel back the curtain a little bit. Last night in the Xfinity Series here at Martinsville, for the first time in his career, Chris Claude spins out twice and winds up suspending himself for a week. It's weird when the commish has to enforce his own rules upon himself, and it's not like the federal government. He couldn't find a loophole. These rules are ironclad here in the MNN Xfinity Series. But Chris, I mean, you're usually one of the most consistent drivers here on the race, on the racetrack and in our point standings. Right now, you sit in 9th, no wins, and most of the drivers in the top 10 in points right now, no wins. How do you explain that kind of consistency every week?
I don't know. I think that it comes down to just waiting for the right moment and trying to get all the points that I can in the race. It's tough for me to get stage points. I'm just usually not as fast as the guys early on in the race, especially with the Truck Series having shorter races and the stages go by a lot faster. Unless I'm up towards the front like I am tonight, maybe I'll be able to get some stage points just from having better track position, but usually, being qualifying mid-pack or a little bit worse than that, it's tough to get up there unless you really want to push your car or truck hard, depending on which race that I'm in. And for me, I really need to be able to stay in the race as long as I can, just to keep an eye on things, as an admin, and Plus I just don't like having DNFs, which is, basically what I wound up having last night. And so a little bit frustrated over that. It was a pretty rough day overall, but that just kind of capped it all off for me. I call it karma. I come up with a way to kind of keep people from doing self spins, and then I wound up being a victim of it the very first night I initiated.
Yeah, it was definitely a rough one. It's been a rough 2 nights here at Martinsville Speedway. 40 cautions over 2 races, 750 laps. So that's a tough break, for this league, which is usually very clean, very organized, and Martinsville is an anomaly of a racetrack, and it brings out anomalies within the racing, family. So as it is. So, good luck tonight, my friend, and hey, I'll keep a seat open for you next Monday night.
Yeah, I may take you up on that because this is going to be a long race, and I'm going to need something to do to kind of pass the time. I will, jump out or whatever if I need to say something to the guys or whatever. I don't want to interrupt the people listening to the broadcast, but
It'll be
yeah,
fine.
that'll probably be a good idea that we can have a semi 2-man booth
Absolutely.
for one race.
All right, Chris. Well, thank you for your time tonight. Good luck, as you're going to be rolling off 7th tonight.
Hey, in all seriousness, though, was there like a banana peel in that corner that I can't?
Listen,
I feel like I hit the same place 2 times.
It was a tar peel. It's from what they use to reseal the racetrack. That stuff that just fills in the cracks. It's that caulk. That's what you kept catching.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah.
But
I'll just have to be careful of that tonight.
Absolutely. All right, Chris. Well, thank you very much, and we will see you later on.
All right. See you, Dave.
That, of course, the voice of the great Chris Claude, who last night was for the first time one of the unlucky folks. As we're going to go up here into Bandit Racing, we're going to get a hold of my good buddy, my brother from another mother, Mr. Randall Watkins. Hey, Randall, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, brother.
Well, you've got a couple of weeks now with being able to use both legs in the race car, and in this case, the race truck. How are you feeling after these runs that we've had the last couple of nights?
Well, if I could stop getting caught up in these wrecks, I'll be feeling great. Hopefully tonight will be the night.
Yeah, it's been a rough one. I mean, last night in the Xfinity Series, it seemed like everybody and their cousin was out for blood, and, you still wind up getting yourself, up here into the point standings pretty deep, running 17th right now, so just outside that top 16, which, of course, comes into play later on in the season. What's going to be the strategy tonight here as we get ready to roll off?
Probably a little more cautious. Try to stay away from the people who's going to run me over and just let them go. And just be patient, because last night I had a good setup. I just, got run over a few times, and that didn't help any whatsoever. So tonight, a little more patience.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, good luck tonight as warm-up is underway, and maybe we'll see you on the other side. Maybe a little bit of success here tonight for you.
I hope so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, as we're going to send him back on up into Bandit Racing, as we're going to quick come up here as we're just kind of trying to walk the grid a little bit. And as we continue our grid walk, we want to check in here with Anthony Savignano. Hey, Anthony, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
How's it going, Dave? I got you.
Well, it's another night, so we get to reset and re-rack and do it all over again. How are you feeling there in the 90 tonight as we get ready to roll?
It's been a long 2 nights, Dave. Just a little frustrated at Martinsville, but I'm glad to have a fresh reset tonight. A little slow in the truck compared to the Cup and Xfinity car, but hopefully I'll be able to work my way up to the front of the field like the last 2 nights and stay there, unlike the last 2 nights.
Yeah, it's been frustrating for you guys on the racetrack, as well as, Matt and I on Sunday and myself last night, because, after about the 15th caution, you just start trying to put your head right through the desk here in the broadcast booth. I mean, you guys have been trying your best to keep it, between the lines. And I mean, last night you kind of got bit in the tailpipe a little bit, as you finished back in 23rd, I think it was. Yeah, 23rd after starting in 4th. I mean, so you start strong, and just get caught up in dumb stuff here at the paperclip.
Yeah, last night was me and Eugenio. I mean, we had a long talk about it after the race. I'm glad we were able to resolve everything, but those incidents, both of them between me and Eugenio, they got split. I still am a little curious about the decision. I understand on the second one, I stuck my nose where I shouldn't have been. I'm just getting a little too impatient, so I'm trying to learn some patience here at the short tracks. I was able to lead earlier in the season at Bristol as well and not finish that one too because of impatience. Getting loose by myself, so.
On my way out last night, I saw the two of you in the same place. I was like, you know what? I'm going to scurry out of here and run.
No, I'm glad we were able to resolve it. Eugenio's he's a very intelligent race car driver on the sim. He knows what he's doing, and he's smart not to carry grudges through a long season. So,
yeah, if there's one thing to your point, I mean, I think as long as you can put those grudges aside, once the checkered flag waves, hey, it's over. There's always next week. You can start fresh, and that's exactly what you're doing tonight. I do like the Oreo paint scheme here, of course, harkening back to Dale Jr. in the early part of his Xfinity career when he decided to go ahead and win some championships. Sorry about that. I was reading something. But, good luck tonight as, of course, here I am trying to multitask and watch about 17 things at once as you get underway. And, hey, maybe we'll see you on the other side, man.
Hopefully we'll do, Dave. Thanks for everything you guys do up in the booth.
Absolutely, as we're going to move Anthony back up here to Bandit Racing. Just a few minutes left here in our warm-up session as we're going to quick take a look at our full qualifying field. There it is. Jacob Schneider going to sit on the pole position tonight. So continuing on his success that he had at COTA. Nicholas Casey going to be on the outside of row 1. Bobby Blazer, who spent a lot of time up front last night, of course, with a lot of success up front last night. As a matter of fact, as we take a quick peek at that one as well, he brought home the checkered flag last night in the Xfinity Series, so he's going to be continuing that momentum tonight. The faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, with a win already on the season. He's going to be starting on the inside of row number 3. We see Brandon Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma, going to be starting 11th position. Anthony Savignano, who we spoke with just a moment ago, as well as Randall Watkins, two teammates from Bandit Racing, going to be starting 16th and 17th, respectively. Jeff Carson, the mad scientist of setups here in this league, he's going to be starting in 18th position. We see Sean Rogers, Chris Custer, Alexander Gangler, Bennett Allen. There are some big names deep in the field. The question suddenly becomes, are these drivers, going to try to charge forward, or are they going to ride this out and see what, where the chips fall here at Martinsville Speedway? It's been a busy week once again here at Martinsville as qualifying and warm-up has now concluded, which means that we're ready to get rocking and rolling. Just waiting for all of these drivers to get into their race trucks here. Still waiting for Schneider, Casey, and Paris to hop in so we can go through the field and get everybody a little bit of screen time here. There's Jeremy Paris in the 05. One of the few drivers out here without a paint scheme on that truck. The only thing we can say about him is he is the man in black, quite literally tonight, as he is every night. So if you're a potential sponsor, I'm not trying to plug him, but Jeremy Paris is always getting some screen time. So make sure that you reach out to him if you'd like to be a sponsor and get some screen time here on Sim Racing Media. Jacob Schneider going to be our pole sitter tonight, joined by Nicholas Casey on the front row from Hinsdale, New Hampshire. Jeremy Paris, as we just mentioned, at a Flowery Branch, Georgia. He's going to be in row number 2 alongside Bobby Blazer out of York, PA. Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor in the NC811.org Ford F-150, starts on the inside of row number 3 alongside of our neighbor from the north, Claude Ferland. Chris Claude starting in 7th position alongside Noah Hamilton. Mitchell Davies and Benjamin Garrity going to be in row number 5, while Paul Hill and Brandon Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma, start in row number 6. Row 7 going to feature Gabriel Lafreniere and Sylvain Joly, a pair of teammates, as Anthony Savignano and Tane Hodison going to be in row number 8. Row 9 is going to be Jeff Carson and Chris Custer, while Randall Watkins and Sean Rogers will be in row number 10. Jamie Beasley and Will Young going to be in row number 11, while row 12 going to feature Alexander Gangler and Mason Hoffner. Bennett Allen makes his return here to the Truck Series alongside Daniel Moynihan in row 13, while Rich Jett and Ron Fitting start in row 14. Matt Mackin in the 01 starts 29th, and shotgun on the field tonight belongs to McAdoo, Pennsylvania's very own John Wilco out of the 570. So 30 drivers scheduled to take the green flag tonight, 200 laps the scheduled distance as we get ready to roll here. The iRacing.com pace car leading us around the field, makes the hard left turn down pit road. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, one last hot dog here at Martinsville. Race fans, it's show time! Jacob Schneider with a good, clean start here on lap number 1. He's going to be followed by Jeremy Paris and Nicholas Casey as they are side by side going into turns 3 and 4. They come out of 4, still side by side. Jeremy Paris taking the victory here on that particular lap, as now Stoney Benfield looks wow, what in the world just happened to, I believe that was the 86 of Nicholas Casey, as we are under caution. Nicholas Casey is sideways here. I'm not sure what happened. We're going to take a run back here at the replay and find out just what may have happened to Nicholas Casey. That was definitely not planned for sure. We see Casey here on the front stretch, crosses the start-finish line, and he started to get loose going into one, overcorrected, and there goes the Gorilla Gas 86. We're going to take a look at that from his helmet cam here as well, and we'll see if we can't get this figured out also. Here he goes. There's the loose. He tries to overcorrect, and there goes the problem. The other thing that I just happened to notice there is the way that wheel reacted. So we may have to see if maybe he had some kind of a hardware issue as well. He's going to have to definitely come down pit road, as he took a hard lick into the wall on lap 2. So a quick first caution here, 2 laps in. Now we work lap number 4 with the iRacing.com pace car leading the way. Jacob Schneider, our race leader here in the Hard Rock 02. Let's see if we're going to have another lap here of caution, and we do. So I'm going to quick grab Jacob. Hey, Jake, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Dave. How's it going?
Good, man. Listen, you're up here in the lead. Of course, you brought home the checkered flag at COTA, taking that momentum and rolling here into the next week at Martinsville. What are you thinking just before we go back green flag racing?
I'm hoping we can get some green flag racing. That's all I'm hoping.
Yeah, what happened there with the 86 looked like a freak accident. Looked like maybe he broke a little loose and tried to correct it, and then had some kind of a hardware failure mixed in there.
Yeah, I'm watching the broadcast here under yellow. I think he entered above the concrete. He got his rights on the asphalt. I don't think that's...
Well, what I noted as hardware failure is when the wheel simply snapped back to center. So, very strange, but, unfortunate luck for him. But now that gets him out of the way for you, as you're going to have Jeremy Paris and Bobby Blazer in tow. So good luck holding him off. Good luck the rest of the way here, as we've got a long way to go tonight.
Thank you, Dave. Have fun.
Oh, I always do. As we hop back on down here into the broadcast booth, Jacob Schneider with control of the field comes out of turn number 4. He rolls through and into the Geico restart zone. He hits that double red line, drops the hard hammer, and on our way we go. Jacob Schneider of Greenville, South Carolina, leads Jeremy Paris, and they go single file almost immediately as we start to work lap number 7. Now, Stoney Benfield out of Albemarle, North Carolina, he's got himself here a pretty decent distance behind. Now, Schneider just lays down fastest lap at 19.35 seconds, while Claude Ferland goes to duke it out with Noah Hamilton. We see Hamilton here in the Razor 84 machine as they go side by side. This is dangerous, more so for Claude than anybody, because all he has to do is one flick of the wrist and it's all over for the 43 as they come down the front stretch here on lap number 9. Now we're going to start to tick them off all nice and easy. Benjamin Garrity going to be on the inside of Brandon Minto. Minto seems to have found some kind of a speed trap up here. Oh, wow. What a good entry into 3, as Minto just used all of that momentum to spin himself out of there. Great rotation for Norman, Oklahoma's Brandon Minto, as he's going to run the number 12 Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. Oh, good Lord. I don't know who touched who, but that wasn't friendly. I'm fairly certain that was a bad touch. I'm going to run this back here and see if I can't find where this originated. So I'm not sure who this might have been. It looked like a 5 or something to that effect. Just taking a look here as we've got the replay mask up on the screen. I didn't forget about you folks. We're just trying to find out who done it. As I'm looking for smoke but no fire. There it is. That looks like it's going to be near Sylvain Joly. And it may have been the 90 of Bobby Blazer. I don't know how I got, or I'm sorry, the 90 of Anthony Savignano. Nope, it's the 90 of Bobby Blazer being scored as the 25. So thank you for coming back. Oh, geez, we didn't need that. As we go back here, we're going to see Bobby Blazer just in front of the 84 self-spins and starts to look, wow, almost a full pirouette right in front of Sylvain Joly. As we are under caution for the second time tonight, 13 laps in the books. So about every 10 laps once again. This time it happened to be 8. Taking a look at the YouTube.com live chat. Zachary Gallo asking, I'm not sure, are you asking me who I would like to win? Zachary Gallo likes Ben Garrity. John Rapp saying Johnny or one of the other peeps is cool with me. Static Speed Shop cheering on Ron Fitting and Chris Custer. Paul Hill and Grease Monkey Motorsports. Michigan Rocker, as always, cheering on Brandon Minto. And Ben is apparently running Ray Ferreira's setup tonight, so is Nick. So a lot of activity here in the YouTube.com live chat. Let us know, folks, who you're pulling for tonight. Of course, I'm not allowed to tell you who I want to win, but I've got my favorite driver right here in the back of the old noggin. And after qualifying in 7th position, speaking of favorite drivers and friends, after qualifying in 7th position, Chris Claude has faded all the way back here, 16 spots to 24th, so not sure how he wound up back there, but the iRacing.com pace car lights are out, which means we'll be going back green flag racing. The pace car leading us down the back stretch. Of course, all of these trucks under cloudy skies tonight. As we take a peek here at our current conditions on the racetrack, 66 degrees if you're in the stands, but 68 degrees on the track temperature. That's almost so cold that you're going to be slipping around as we come into the Geico restart zone. Now remember, even though that it says Geico there on turn number 4, the restart zone doesn't hit until you get to the double red line there on the front stretch. As Jacob Schneider takes off, Stoney Benfield side by side with Noah Hamilton. He's got Hamilton on the high side. That's kind of like putting someone on the ropes in the boxing ring, as that's going to allow Benfield to turn some really quick laps here in the 75. He overtakes the 84 of Noah Hamilton, as now he puts Jeremy Paris in the crosshairs as Stoney Benfield climbs up here into the top 3. Meanwhile, Bobby Blazer, after just self-spinning side by side once again with Sylvain Joly, finding himself some speed here as he rotates out of turn 4, getting a run-on exit here alongside Sylvain Joly. He's got the 65 of Benjamin Garrity, of course, being shouted out in our YouTube.com live chat in that Gorilla Gas Chevrolet Silverado. And Garrity here now trying to get his way around the racetrack just over top of Claude Ferland. So a lot of neighbors from the north here in our top 10. We've got Sylvain Joly and Claude Ferland here in the top 10. Of course, their teammate in the 06 Oxmoor is not out here tonight, unfortunately. And that's Gabriel Lafreniere that's usually out here as well. Oh, there he is. I'm sorry, Gabriel. Somehow I missed that one. As Gabriel Lafreniere here, another teammate of Sylvain Joly and Claude Ferland, running right now in 13th position. And if he's out here, you're going to watch that number climb for him as he's +1 right now to the good. 14 positions to the good for Bennett Allen as he makes a cameo appearance here in the Outlier Speed Company Chevrolet Silverado. Of course, Bennett Allen, a good friend of mine, running here on lap number 22. He's up 14 slots, the biggest mover of the night so far in the right direction. Chris Claude actually in the wrong direction, being down 17. But most of the drivers here in the field tonight on the plus side, as we watch Chattanooga, Tennessee's very own Bennett Allen just behind the 44 of Sean Rogers. Now, Bennett Allen knows how to get it done in this league as he's the 2022 SNN Xfinity Series champion. And, of course, the 2021 TNN Series champion is Bob Nestor. Of course, not with us tonight here on the racetrack as we are under caution once again. Will Young showing up as having been involved. Let's see what happened with Will. Will Young here in the 41, just ahead of Gabriel Lafreniere. Self-spins coming out of turn 2 and onto the back chute, and fortunately doesn't take anybody else with him as we work right now lap number 24 of 200. Of course, I keep saying we're working a lap because we've got stage racing here in this league. We're just about halfway as we cross the start-finish line now at lap 25. Stage 1 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 50, and Stage 2 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 100. It's going to be Schneider, Paris, Benfield, Furlan, Garrity, your top 5 when we get restarted here. Noah Hamilton, Brandon Minto, Sylvain Joly, Anthony Savignano, and Sean Rogers, your top 10. As we face another restart here, the third caution of Stage 1. Will Young going to have to be the free pass car as he is right behind the pace car here, just ahead of Jacob Schneider. So when those lights go out, Will Young going to have to get giddied up here around the pace car as we've got 2 to go now to green. Going to take a peek here and see if we can get a hold of Bennett Allen. Hey, Bennett, it's Dave. You got me?
Hello.
Oh, hello, sir. Here you are in the 15, making a special appearance in this league once again. The Outlier Speed Company Chevrolet cranked up right now, 14 positions to the good, running in 11th. How do you find yourself up here tonight?
Excellent wreck avoidance, knowing where to put my truck on the outside, and using the chrome horn at the front of my truck. That's about it.
Well, you know, the chrome horn has made some ugly appearances the last 2 nights here as we've run a combined 40 cautions in 750 laps. You know, it's going to be 950 by the end of tonight. What are you thinking as far as how often do you want to use that chrome horn?
If I use it effectively and safely, it should not, I should use it like every lap. But I'm trying to, race with respect out here. I might not finish the race because, I got work in the morning at 6. So I'm just doing this till I have to go to bed. But, we'll see what happens.
All right, buddy. Good luck the rest of the way. Green flag about to fly.
Thank you.
That, of course, the voice of the great Bennett Allen, 2022 SNN Xfinity Series champion. Jacob Schneider takes the green flag, and we go back underway. He hauls it down here into turn 1, and almost instantly we're under caution again. And everybody's going to wonder why Dave wants to put his head through the desk. Now watch Bennett Allen bumping the 90 of Savignano. He goes to the inside of Savignano, and, well, we were just talking about the chrome horn, and he turns Savignano around. We're going to take another look at this from Bennett Allen. And as much as I hate to say it, this one's going to be on Bennett for sure. as we're going to go here to the cockpit of Bennett Allen's number 15 truck. He gives a little love tap and then looks to the inside, and there it is. "31 laps in the books here as we're trying to find out where the heck did that go." There's Bennett Allen. Here we go on the restart. Here's Bennett Allen one more time. I don't want to say that Savignano was coming down. I don't think he was. If we're going to look at this, we're going to look at it from the blimp one more time, as I know last night I was kind of quick to make assumptions. But we're going to watch Savignano. Savignano was basically set up to make his turn, and Bennett was just there in the way. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily malicious, but we did just get done having the chrome horn conversation. "33 laps in the books here as Jacob Schneider leads the way. He's going to be joined back on the front row by Jeremy Paris as Stoney Benfield, Claude Ferland, and Benjamin Garrity round out your top 5. We're on our way here to the end of stage number 1. About 16 laps to go in stage 1. So maybe if these drivers can string something together here at the end of stage 1, we can get a good green flag run. The iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road once again as Jacob Schneider going to enter into the Geico restart zone. Remember once again that restart zone doesn't start until that double red line, and here we go. Riding on Jeremy Paris's nose here just behind Schneider, we can see how both of these drivers are setting themselves up right now. Schneider and Paris are matching one another step for step as we work lap number 35. We can see Paris now maybe tightening up just a hair, but a great rotation out of Schneider ahead of him. Paris has been faster than Schneider for several laps now. But as we go back green flag racing, it seems like perhaps now that's going to fade away for Paris as he's now starting to slow down by more than 1/10 of a second on lap 36. As we roll out here on 37, now 38, we're going to see what that time might have been, 18.890. So all of a sudden, Jeremy Schneider with an 18.89 leads the field and sets the fast time once more here at Martinsville Speedway. It's going to go Schneider, Paris, Benfield, Garrity, and Ferland in your top 5 as they are still duking it out deeper in the field. We take a peek now as Matt Mackin and Mitchell Davies crash, but we stay green flag racing as the 53 of Daniel Moynihan charges at the rear end of Sylvain Joly. Joly, meanwhile, starting to look up here where Paul Hill is ready to battle it out with Tane Hodison. And we can see them crossing the start-finish line. Hill is starting to try to reel Hodison in, but he's got to be careful because Joly, in hot pursuit there, almost got him by the tailgate. As we're going to see what happened with Matt Mackin. Of course, here we are under caution again. Almost made it to the end of stage one, as it looks like Mackin got pressed up into by Mitchell Davies. He brings it back together. It's showing Anthony Savignano as having come down into the pit, so I'm not sure if this is going to be... Oh, Savignano's got smoke puffing out the back of the 90. And Davies and Mackin wrecking a second time, it's showing. So this is an interesting move. We'll see what's going on here. As we see Davies in the 20 machine, after getting a reprieve from the Matt Mackin incident, he gets around John Wilco. And, oh, there's the 30 and the 66. Let's see what happened there. As that was Mason Hoffner and Chris Custer. There's the 30 just ahead. Now the 30, it looks like here comes the rear end stepping around. Custer has no place to go. He checks himself up, but still gets rammed in the rear by the 41. And that's Will Young. So unfortunate for Chris Custer, who thought he had it safely under control. 43 laps now, so it's going to be a quick run here to the end of stage one. Jacob Schneider pretty much poised to go ahead and take the stage one green and white checkered flag. Checking in here in the YouTube.com live chat. Spider Mike is pulling for Ben Garrity, and Ray Ferreira says that it was unnecessary for the 15. And yeah, it was kind of ill-timed for Bennett Allen back there with Savignano. But so much has happened since then, it's kind of irrelevant at this point. And it's, you know, it's a rack 'em, stack 'em. Forget about what just happened a moment ago, and get ready to do this all again here. As we're here in Martinsville, Virginia. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth just outside the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As we check in, speaking of Philadelphia, with the Phillies. Of course they're a commercial. Of course, we'll check on some other baseball scores throughout the league tonight as Jacob Schneider gets ready to drop the hammer here in the Geico restart zone, and he has been all but perfect on restarts here, and with this many restarts in this race, he doesn't have a choice but to be perfect. Five to go here in stage one. Now 4 as we cross the start-finish line. Jeremy Paris all over the rear bumper of Jacob Schneider. Stoney Benfield has to check up because he doesn't want to wind up wrecking himself or Jeremy Paris as they get themselves sorted out. Tane Hodison now all of a sudden holding off Paul Hill, who gets onto the left rear of him. They go wheel to wheel down the front stretch, and as they get ready to bump fenders, the caution comes out. That's going to be stage number 1. As Jacob Schneider going to capture the green and white checkered flag, he'll be followed by Jeremy Paris, Stoney Benfield, Ben Garrity, Claude Ferlin, Sean Rogers, Brandon Minto, Gabriel Lafreniere, Bobby Blazer, and Tane Hodison. Your top 10. As we're going to get a hold of Jacob Schneider. Hey, Jake, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Dave.
Well, congrats on the stage 1 win here. As it's been a long stage already. 5 cautions for cause and 6 cautions for cause as this one ends the stage early. What are you thinking as you get ready to go into stage 2?
I don't know. Just the same thing as this time. Get good restarts. Don't make a mistake. I'm not sure there's enough green flag laps for there to be much racing yet. I see the third stage going green though.
Yeah, it usually seems like stage 1 is a complete dumpster fire. Stage 2 kind of cools down a little bit, and stage 3, all of a sudden you can run a good length of green flag laps. You know, I'd like to see a good 75 piece rip off of here, you know, which, I mean, opens up things for you up front, because having this many restarts, it makes you vulnerable right up until you get across, you know, through turn 1.
Yeah, I think that last restart. Jeremy got the closest he has. He could have sent me if he wanted to, and I've been trying to not put myself in that situation. So, yeah, you're right. Just try to stay safe, keep track position for as long as I can.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way, as I'm sure that doesn't look like too many people came down pit road here in the top 10. Looks like the top 8 of you all stayed out.
Yeah, I'd suspect the field gets pretty mixed up after the second stage here.
All right, buddy. Good luck the rest of the way. Maybe we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you, Dave.
And, of course, your Stage 1 winner, Jacob Schneider, in the 02 Ford F-150. And here it is, the St. Louis Cardinals leading the Philadelphia Phillies 1-0 here in the bottom of the 5th, and 1 on and nobody out. Zach Wheeler fires and deals, and a liner into left field for Wynn, who we saw a little while ago, as the throw is cut off, and that's going to move the runners to second and third for the Phils. 52 laps in the books tonight, as we're going to work our way toward lap number 100. Hopefully some of these drivers can calm themselves down and start trying to work a little bit on that racecraft, because, you know, here's what happens, unfortunately, more often than not. You know, these drivers get themselves in a rhythm, and all it takes is one flick of the toe, and all of a sudden you've got the rear end of that truck stepping out from behind you where you don't want it to be. And generally that's what happens here as we get ourselves lined back up. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out. The caution lights on the track are out. That means that we'll be going back green flag racing any moment here, as the 20 of Mitchell Davies comes off of pit road. So does John Wilco. They beat the pace car out, so they won't lose another lap. As right now it's showing 26 drivers still on the lead lap here, as we had those last 2 come off of pit road. So when we go back green flag racing, it's going to be just under 50. It should be about 46 to go, 45 to go here at the line, as we will have another lap of caution here. Now the iRacing.com pace car lights go out. And, of course, there I was looking for the Mariners Blue Jays score, and they're at commercial. We'll switch over here to ESPN Plus. And they're at commercial. Everybody's at commercial in Major League Baseball. Go figure. Jacob Schneider coming back down the front stretch, enters the Geico restart zone, kicks and deals, and here we go. Jacob Schneider gets another good jump over Jeremy Paris in the 05. The man in black trying to chase down Jacob Schneider in his F-150 here on lap number 55, as stage 2 is finally underway. Maybe we can start making a little hay here as we roll out of turn number 4. It's all kinds of a mess behind them. Everybody's still jockeying for position as we come down the front stretch and into turns 1 and 2. Side by side goes Jeff Carson and Will Young in the 41. They've got, a good hit from Bennett Allen here into the rear end of Will Young, as Will Young still side by side with Sylvain Joly, as they are trailing some of the strongest drivers in this field. That's Noah Hamilton in the 84 and Jeff Carson in the 9. And Carson from Cross Junction, Virginia, kind of a home track for him, is out here just absolutely battling it out with these drivers around him. It's going to be a long night for Jeff. And believe me, he's one of those drivers that doesn't like to be pushed around the racetrack. And there goes Sylvain up the racetrack. He gets himself loose, but he stays moving forward. We'll take a look at that right here from the blimp cam, as he was just out of the camera frame behind Jeff Carson, and he manages to reel it back in, kind of like driving on an icy roadway on a snowy day. So Sylvain Joly manages to keep it green, and that's what we're looking for here in Stage 2. We're not looking for people to lose it and go under caution for the 47th time in a night. You know, we're just trying to get some good, clean green flag racing. Stoney Benfield side by side with the 84. Mess in front of him. There's the 15. Oy. This is going to be a mess as we go under caution for the 7th time for cause tonight. We're going to take a look right here. Here's the 49 just in front of Bennett Allen. Bennett talked about using... Whoa, Bennett. Ay, that's the chrome horn for sure. Let's roll here from the nose of Bennett Allen. Bennett did get off the throttle, but to me, certainly not enough. He had no business all over that rear quarter panel of Jamie Beasley in the 49. Chris Claude, if you're listening to the broadcast in the background, I've got good news for you. Right now, your Atlanta Braves are leading the New York Mets, which I realize isn't. Frank Marchese, I hope you're listening. Right now, not hard to do. The Atlanta Braves are leading the New York Mets 5-0 in the top of the 6th inning. As Lopez out here with 91 pitches on the night, kicks and deals, and Alonso backs out of the batter's box. And are they calling? I think they just called that a batter's violation. So an interesting night down there in Atlanta. Drivers getting their Chick-fil-A orders in. As right now in the top of the 7th, the Toronto Blue Jays leading the Seattle Mariners 5-0 at home in the Rogers Center. A little bit of discussion here in race radio, and it does make me kind of wonder, and maybe everybody here in the YouTube.com live chat can put in some of their thoughts. Could you have imagined, because it happens in our sport all the time, you know, a rain delay or a postponement, could you have imagined the Cup race being postponed till Monday and they wind up having to race under an eclipse? That would have been incredible. I'm listening to these guys talk about it on race radio, and the more I'm thinking about it, that would have been interesting to see. What do you all think here in the YouTube.com live chat? Would that have been cool or not cool? Jacob Schneider gets the restart here on lap number 67. So 67 laps in the books as we're on our way toward lap number 100 at the for the conclusion of stage number 2. It's going to be Paris following him in P2. as there's all of a sudden a battle breaking out here with Alexander Gangler, who led last night. Sorry, a little bit of dinner burpage here. Who led last night for quite a while in the Xfinity Series, as he's watching Noah Hamilton and Paul Hill throw haymakers at one another, and just behind them, Bobby Blazer and Gabriel Lafreniere in the 06 going at it as well. Something is going to happen amongst these four drivers at some point here. I don't know when it's going to be, but I can tell you this much: it's not going to be pretty when it does break out. Watch these four drivers. That's the 8, the 6, the 84, and the 06. And all of a sudden, the 90 of Bobby Blazer starting to trail in here as the 84 of Noah Hamilton checks up in front of Blazer. They're still watching Gangler and Hill throw pitchforks and torches at one another. The faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, on his recovery drive, climbing up alongside of Tane Hodison. They go door handle to door handle into 3. So all of a sudden, this little mid-pack area here starting to heat up, as hopefully the Phillies' bats heat up right now with Kyle Schwarber leading off the top of the 6th inning with a base hit. Gets himself out there. Stoney Benfield now gets past Tane Hodison. He puts the 53 of Daniel Moynihan in the crosshairs. And I've got to believe that, Stoney Benfield is not looking to ride and survive. He's looking to ride and thrive for sure. Ride to survive and drive to thrive. That's what our series is going to be all about this night here in Martinsville, Virginia. We'll get a chance to talk to Stoney Benfield, I'm sure, at some point this evening, as the faster pastor from Albemarle, North Carolina, finally gets the run on the 53 that he needs and gets on by Daniel Moynihan. Not sure if Moynihan is related to Bobby Moynihan from Saturday Night Live, but if he is, cool. If he's not, that's fine too. "75 laps in the books tonight, as Jacob Schneider has led basically every lap from the drop of the green flag. He, Jeremy Paris, Ben Garrity, Sean Rogers, and Claude Furland, your top 5. None of these 5 drivers have come down pit road for service tonight yet. Daniel Moynihan and Tane Hodison, same deal, as all of a sudden Hodison's starting to work his way past Moynihan. So Moynihan may have stayed out because he thought it seemed like a good idea, but maybe he just can't hang with the big dogs as he rolls out of turn 4 and back onto the front stretch. The 06 of Gabriel Lafreniere from Saint Jude runs here in the Oxymore F-150 just underneath Moynihan. Moynihan can't catch a break as he's trying desperately to get in here on the low side, and it seems like every time there's a little bit of real estate, he can't move down there, as now Alexander Gangler out of Big Rock, Illinois, gets behind him. He allows Moynihan in, and Moynihan gets loose and goes up the hill. We'll take a look at that, as now he works over top of Brandon Minto. Here he is coming down into turn 1. Nearly makes contact. He goes to check up just behind Gabriel Lafreniere and loosens himself up maybe just a hair too much. "80 laps in the books here in the Craftsman Truck Series, right here on Sim Racing Media. Glad to have everybody with us tonight, as we finally have strung some green flag laps together here, working lap 81. Of course, some of these drivers have been working all night long just to get themselves into a good position. And speaking of good positions, here's Jacob Schneider looking back now at Jeremy Paris. Schneider at this point 1.6 and more seconds over Jeremy Paris, who looks on from behind and can do nothing but try his very best to try to catch up with Jacob Schneider. Ben Garrity going to be the next car in line here, the 65 Gorilla Gas Chevrolet Silverado, leading just ahead of Sean Rogers out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Sean Rogers usually has Amanda Price in the YouTube.com live chat. I haven't seen her yet tonight. And just as I say that, I look over here at the YouTube.com live chat, and there she is. "84 laps in the book." Sean Rogers, as we were moving through our top 10. Claude Ferland from Accent LED in the 43. He's back here in 5th position. Stoney Benfield running in 6th now. Starting to try to close the gap. Let's take a look here at this. And where did the Phillies game go? Now it just blinked off on my screen. Now that's frustrating. As we're going to go right here to the lap times between Claude and Stoney. Now Stoney Benfield's starting to run faster by about 400th of a second on lap 83. He slows down on 84, so that becomes a wash. As we see these drivers trying to duke it out. Stoney not necessarily in the same frame here right now, as he's 1.6 seconds behind Claude. But with 15 laps to go here in Stage 2, we're going to see them get closer once again at the end of Stage 2. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight here on the YouTube.com live chat. Dave Riegel in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Thank you for joining us and making us a part of your evening as always. As the Phillies are threatening to score here on the Cardinals. 2 on, nobody out for Bryce Harper, who steps into the left side batter's box. Schneider here with a 2.7 second lead over Jeremy Paris. Stoney Benfield getting involved in something. Hopefully this isn't going to ruin his evening, as he's got the 6 of Paul Hill just behind him. Of course, it just sank Stoney Benfield into 14th position. And, fortunately, he keeps on rolling, but that's no way to treat the pastor, especially when he's the faster pastor. So Paul Hill getting out the chrome horn, maybe a little too soon, as we've seen that several times tonight. We're going to ride along with Paul Hill. The fortunate thing for Paul is if Stoney would have turned too much further, that would have been a caution. It would have been an at-fault penalty for Paul Hill. Jacob Schneider still your race leader. Brandon Minto working just behind Noah Hamilton in the 84. And he's about a quarter of a second behind Hamilton. He's starting to close in now at less than 2/10 of a second now. Coming into turn 3. And it's allowing Alexander Gangler here in the top 10 to start to drive away from those two drivers. And you know, again, Gangler without a win here this season, still doing incredibly well in our point standings as we pull them up right quick here. And we see, now I just lost him. I had it highlighted, and then I clicked, and bad things happen. Gangler is 28th right now. He climbed up 7 positions 2 weeks ago at COTA. And, you know, getting those bonus points at the end of these stages is going to help his cause. I mean, he's right in the thick of things in the Xfinity Series. He's right in the thick of things right here in the Truck Series tonight, as Brandon Minto looks to strap on the hairnet and serve lunch to Big Rock, Illinois' Alexander Gangler. Side by side they go. Gangler finally having to cede that position away. He slides into 11th now. Here on lap number 95. So 6 to go now. 5 to go this time at the line in stage 2. And Gangler can do nothing but look on from behind. All of a sudden, though, Stoney Benfield starting to crawl up here. He's going to watch Sylvain Joly and Noah Hamilton go at it side by side. If there was a third lane, Stoney would be in it by now, trying to take over those 2 spots and get a 2-for-1 deal. Right now, the smartest thing for him is kind of to hang out here and just, you know, at this point, bide his time and get himself up here once somebody makes a mistake in front of him. He's got to leave enough room so he's got some reaction time. Speaking of making a mistake, he's going to drive right past the 84. Oh, my. He's going to drive right past the 84 and the 43 of Sylvain Joly. And as if it was from my mouth to God's ears, Stoney Benfield here on lap number 97 regains his position. Now, Noah Hamilton and Sylvain Joly in the 08 both get loose at the same time, and then Hamilton clips Joly. That's going to conclude stage number 2, with Jacob Schneider once again being the winner of this stage. Jacob Schneider, the winner of stage number 2. He swept stages 1 and 2. And here he is, Jacob Schneider. It's Dave. You got me?
I got you.
Man, what an incredible finish here to the end of stage 2, because I was watching Noah and Sylvain go at it just in front of Stoney Benfield, and I'm thinking all it has to take is for one of those drivers to make a mistake, and Stoney's able to drive right past. That's all going on while you were way ahead of Jeremy Paris. What's going on there in the O2, and what's going to be the strategy here in stage 3?
Oh, this thing's a rocket. I just got to keep it out front. I'm glad it went green there so that everyone was kind of forced to pit with the worn tires, so that no flipping of the strategies or nothing. So kept the track position. The truck is so fast on the long run, so I just hope we get some more of that.
Yeah, saying that the truck is fast on the long run is probably an understatement for you, my man. I mean, you were getting faster even around people who had tire wear about the same length as you did, and you just kept gapping everybody behind you. It's been an impressive stage 2.
Yeah, I got to give it up to the guys at Ryko, Ken, Brandon, everybody who puts in work on these setups. They make my job easy.
All right, brother. Well, listen, good luck here in stage 3. You've got 100 to go here at the line. So maybe I'm sure that we're going to see you atop the pile or darn near close to it, barring some type of calamity.
Yeah, I hope so. Knock on wood.
All right, as we're going to drop down here, and I'm going to get a hold of Stoney Benfield. I've been waiting all night to talk to the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield. Hey, Stoney, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir, Dave. How you doing tonight, bud?
I am blessed by the best, and everybody else is the rest. I can tell you that much.
I hear you, man. I agree.
Listen, I just was watching you right behind, and some great, camera time as you were behind Noah and Sylvain, just in front of you. And I said to our viewers, "Hey, all it's going to take is for one of them to make a mistake, and it's going to open the door for you." And sure enough, they both made almost the identical mistake at the same time and allowed you to drive around them.
Yeah, they did, Dave. And I was running in whatever third, fourth, fifth, whatever I was in and the guy tapped me just a little bit in the back and spun me, and I was just blessed not to destroy the truck and went back. But yeah, this is going to be a survival deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been survival the last 2 nights here. I mean, 40 cautions over 750 laps. We tack on, these 8 cautions tonight, and I mean, each of these 2 stages has ended with a caution. So what's going to be your strategy here? Is this going to be a ride to survive or a drive to thrive?
Well, it depends on what happens. If we get a late caution, I may pit, but I plan on going the whole distance.
By the way, I feel like that's a fun 3-point sermon: ride to survive or drive to thrive. I'm just saying.
I hear you, Dave. I so appreciate it, man. We're going to green here, man.
All right, man. Listen, know that Jesus loves you. So do I. Good luck.
Thank you, Dave.
Oh, geez. Which stable are you in tonight? Ferda?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Let me get you back up.
In there with Brandon Minto.
There we go. I just happened to forget, as I had, some of these drivers, they shift around during the week, and Stoney only runs the truck series here, as we are now green flag racing in stage number 3. Jacob Schneider leads the way and is now gapping Ben Garrity by all but a half second here on lap 104. Jeremy Paris running in 3rd position. All of a sudden behind him, Sean Rogers looking to assault the 43. The 43 and the 44 going at it side by side down the back chute, as they are going to be door handle to door handle coming into 3. Everybody's got to do this one just perfect or it's going to be bad. We can already see the rear end of the 44. Wow, getting around Jeremy Paris as Paris suddenly off base here. 18.85 seconds the last lap for Jacob Schneider. He goes fast time on the racetrack once again. The 43 of Claude Ferlin on the high side of his teammate, Gabriel Lafreniere. He's got Bobby Blazer in tow, though, and that's going to be the battle that we're going to watch right now, as the 43 of Claude Ferlin going to be fender to fender now with Bobby Blazer. And Blazer's going to put up quite a fight here rolling out of 4 as they go side by side down the front stretch. Blazer's got the edge with that inside line, and he's able to match the 43 step for step. They make contact as Bobby just kind of nudges Claude out of the way. That's going to be one way to get around this piece. It's not the chrome horn, but it's certainly a gentle way to get around as you give them a little bit of a love tap and get these drivers out of the way. I want to welcome everybody into the YouTube.com live chat. Thanks for making us a part of your evening here. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth. You're watching Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series action right here on Sim Racing Media. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, as many of you, of course, watching us on those mobile devices. And, you know, hopefully you're not driving while you do this, but you're more than welcome to listen to the dulcet tones of my voice as we work lap 110 here. 90 to go this time by. And we're going to stop and take a break here, but don't worry, you won't miss a thing as we're going to go NASCAR side-by-side right here on SRM.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler, or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Musket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
My name is Leon Kyles. I'm a prostate cancer survivor. I have 2 adult children, 134, 125, and a wife. And I'm glad to be here today. When I got the initial news of my prostate cancer, it was devastating because I got a phone call from my doctor late in the evening, and I was wondering why he was calling, so I put it on speakerphone, and me and my wife was sitting there watching the movie, and he just came straight out and said, "You got cancer." You know, the first thing that went through my mind was, man, am I gonna make it? So I had a lot of different thoughts going through my mind. You know, I didn't know if I was gonna be able to survive. You know, what was going to happen with my wife, my kids. And, you know, I felt hurt, a lot of pain. Through 211, actually. They gave me the number to Trisha Hope, and which was a great thing because Trisha Hope has been very helpful throughout my process of going through my cancer, going through my surgery. Now it's in remission. I don't have it anymore, no diagnosis. And she really helped me with some bills and stuff like that with a grant that I appreciate very much. She helped me out also gave me some referrals to some agencies that could help me out in my city in Anderson. We had at least, probably over the last few months, at least about 6 or 7 conversations where, she would always have an encouraging word to say, always, telling me to be thankful, and just live your life to the fullest, and them the things I've been doing. Anybody that may be experiencing cancer in any shape, form, or fashion, trust God. You have to be patient. You have to make go to your doctor's appointments, and then just, live your life to the full extent. Enjoy yourself, and just keep moving forward because God is there for you. This program is to help cancer patients, and the donations would be gratefully appreciated because they go through a lot of things and they have a lot of doctor's appointments, a lot of bills, things that they can't take care of anymore because of the job situation, leave of absences. Some people never go back to work. Some people are going through chemo and they need a helping hand. So if you could donate anything to help the Trisha Hope Foundation, it would be greatly appreciated.
Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, bringing you all of the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series action as Jacob Schneider, after another pair of cautions under commercial, leads this piece over top of Benjamin Garrity and Sean Rogers. All of a sudden, Jeremy Paris looks to the inside of Sean Rogers. He was riding that rear bumper for quite a while and now goes to make the move underneath Rogers. All of a sudden, the 65 of Benjamin Garrity leads Jeremy Paris as he gets Rogers out of the way. Oh, a little bit of bobble from the 65, and that's going to open the door for Rogers and Paris to run on past him. Teammates Gabriel Lafreniere and Claude Ferlin from north of the border running 4-5 right now as Garrity goes back to 6th position. 7th belongs to Daniel Moynihan. Alexander Gangler, Jeff Carson, and now Bobby Blazer round out your top 10, as Blazer is still back here battling it out with Noah Hamilton. Kind of a home track here for Jeff Carson out of Cross Junction, Virginia. As I'm curious to see, and I'm going to check this with Google Maps because that's what we do here in the 21st century. Wow, it's actually not much of a home track at all for Jeff Carson out of Cross Junction. Cross Junction in Northern Virginia, just outside of D.C., is about a 4-hour drive through North Carolina, it looks, through Rocky Mount, down to Martinsville, Virginia. So kind of an interesting move there. Well, no, I guess Rocky Mount is considered... Now I got to look here a little bit closer. Maybe there's 2 Rocky Mounts. I thought Rocky Mount was in North Carolina. As I'm just kind of peeking around here, I thought that was down toward Lumberton. But I guess not. I don't have to be an expert, but of course there's Kenly, Virginia, or Kenly, North Carolina. Big truck stop there along I-95. To answer the question that was in our YouTube.com live chat from Spider Mike, yes, we will be racing next week at Texas Motor Speedway. All 3 series going to be there at the 1.5 miles just outside of Dallas-Fort Worth, as Daniel Moynihan is side by side with Bobby Blazer. 60 to go here, going to be 59 at the line. as it looks like maybe Moynihan fighting a tight race car here in the 53 Duncan machine. Of course, the 53 out of Boston, Massachusetts, so it's fairly appropriate that he would have Duncan on the side of that F-150. The 84 of Noah Hamilton holds down the back end of the top 10 from Colorado Springs. He suddenly goes fender to fender with Big Rock, Illinois' Alexander Gangler. Now, Gangler slides in here between Brandon Minto and Noah Hamilton. As Minto looks to the high side, he gets a run over top of Gangler. He's going to try to bring along Mitchell Davies, who now looks to try to get around Gangler, who is suddenly starting to fall off. Gangler last came down for pit service on lap number 97, but so did your top 6 from Schneider down through Garrity. Some of those fresh tires that came on at lap 123, 117 for Hamilton, 118 for Davies, are all starting to move up through the field as we go longer for green flag runs here. Looks like we came back just in time to watch a good, strong green flag run here on lap 145. Rich Jett and Mason Hoffner starting to go at it. All of a sudden, Jeff Carson back in 15th position. As Stoney Benfield, now Carson slides down to 16th. Stoney Benfield back up to 14th position, still down 9 from where he qualified in the top 5. Chris Claude, who qualified 7th, runs in 20th right now. Looks like he qualified in 8th, I'm sorry. As he's got John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, representing the 570, running in 19th position. So battles all over the racetrack tonight. 0.2 of a second from Jeremy Paris to Sean Rogers, as Rogers is trying to hold on to that rear bumper of Paris. They're battling it out for second position. We're going to take a look here at those lap times. And as we see, you can be green, you can be brown, you can be blue, you can be violet sky. But lap 142 and 43, Rogers was a little bit less than 1/10 of a second slower than Paris. Then kind of offsets that on 144 and 45. He's not running a consistent lap time to be able to really close in on Paris. So unless he gets a crazy run, it looks like he's just going to be exchanging lap times with Paris as we run closer here. But Jacob Schneider's story of the night, it looks like, as we go deeper in here, he's going to be running faster and faster than Jeremy Paris, as Paris has only had 1 out of the last 5 laps that he was faster than Schneider, and that was only by about 1/10 of a second. So, at this stage in the race, Schneider's pretty much got everything wrapped up, and he's just waiting to put the bow on it with now 50 to go at the line here at Martinsville Speedway. I want to thank everybody for joining us in the youtube.com live chat. Ben Garrity now exchanging paint once again with Bobby Blazer as they haul it down the back chute. Garrity goes to the high side. He's kind of tight as he looks to the inside now of Bobby Blazer. Thought maybe he could use a little bit of a reverse crossover move. Couldn't get it done. As Blazer, we're going to look at his lap times. That's pit strategy, not lap times. As Blazer has consistently been running faster than Garrity by at least a half second now on lap 150. Stoney Benfield showing as having crashed right here on 151. Let's take a look and see what happened to the faster pastor. As he looks to the inside of Alexander Gangler, they go side by side here, and it looks like the rear end of that F-150 just comes around. He keeps it just barely off the wall, giving it a little bit of a rub there. He thought maybe he could try to turn it and spin off the wall. There you go. You got to get it in reverse. Oh, dear. And he is able to get moving once again. That's going to open the door for Jacob Schneider, Jeremy Paris, Sean Rogers, Gabriel Lafreniere, all of these drivers to come on down pit road. That'll cycle Bobby Blazer up to the lead, but Schneider's going to be a tough cookie to try to get around, as he has had the fastest truck on track all night long. We're going to see if we can get a chance here to talk to Bobby Blazer. Hey, Bobby, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, you've just cycled yourself to the lead here on lap 154. You last came down on 123. Jacob Schneider and company all coming down pit road behind you. What's going to be the strategy to try to keep them behind you?
Man. Well, I was in the Discord and with some other people, or I don't know, beginning of the race, being like, man, I don't know how somebody could self-spin in a truck, and then I did the same thing about who knows how many laps later. So I don't really know, man. I swear these trucks do not drive like they used to unless I've been given a bad truck by my team the last 2 times I ran a truck. They drive a lot different than I remember them driving, but it is what it is. So I don't really know how I'm going to hold the people behind me. It seems like track position is key here at this juncture, at least in the trucks. So I don't know, man. The racing has been really clean, though. You know, it's been solid, especially the last half of this race. So if we go green from here, I think I have a chance, but otherwise, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Jacob Schneider has just been showing this field how to get it done here. I mean, so hopefully you added some of that to your notebook. It looks like you've got the faster pastor and Randall Watkins in front of you. They're going to get the free pass. That's going to open up the field for you to just go out there and log some laps. I mean, right now, as we stand, it's 45 to go. And, I mean, that was one of the longer green flag runs we've had tonight. Of course, during commercial, we wound up having 3 cautions as we're on caution number 11. It looks like the Truck Series is going to be the lowest number of cautions in the SNN family of racing series this week.
Yeah, like I said, the last half of this race has been really clean. It hasn't even really been, there's been like 3 or 4 self-spins. Like, it hasn't been anything, like, I mean, there might have been one or two egregious things, but for as close as these trucks are compared to, like, Xfinity last night, I have had a great time, and it's been really good racing. So, again, I'm just here for fun. So, as long as I'm having fun, I'm happy. I don't care if I win.
That's all that matters. And sometimes keeping that in your mind is enough to just kind of be like, you know what? I'm out here for fun. I'm not here to kill myself or anybody else. You know, so sometimes that attitude is just enough to get her done. But listen, I'm going to get you back up into the race chat. Good luck as you get ready to fire off.
Thank you.
That, of course, the voice of the great Bobby Blazer, driver of the number 90 B-Blaze Vintage Chevrolet Silverado. As he enters the Geico restart zone, he's going to drop the hammer, and we're going to get underway here with just about 42 to go this time by. As Blazer's going to take off, he's already missing that rear bumper, but the person that we're going to be watching close right now is Jacob Schneider, who's in 4th position here on the recovery drive after coming down pit road for service on lap 153. So he's got 30 lap newer tires on that truck than everybody else. The question is, does he want to drive the bejesus out of those tires as he works his way past Brandon Minto, who came down on 123? He doesn't want to have to cook those tires too hard, as he needs to save them for about the next 41 laps. And he's going to bring Sean Rogers along here in the 44. Rogers nearly making contact with Brandon Minto, gets through there cleanly. And as Jacob Schneider slides back in front of Tane Hodison, we go under caution. And that is not what Bobby Blazer wanted to see, because now he's going to have to restart alongside of Jacob Schneider, as it looks like Mason Hoffner involved in this wreck here. We're going to take a peek back and see. We're going to watch Hoffner here in the 30 truck. He's going to get a little love tap from the 86 and go for a ride. Oh! And that ride is, not going to end well, as we saw Jeff Carson get in there. The 86, of course, finishes the deal for Hoffner. That was Nicholas Casey, who's down several laps, so not sure why he might have been racing so hard here on lap 162 of 200. So things starting to cool down here in the evening, but things starting to heat up on the track. And just a quick update here. The St. Louis Cardinals still leading the Philadelphia Phillies 3-0 in the bottom of the 7th. 3-0 the count to Burleson, as Wheeler looks to deal pitch number 96. Topper stands in the dugout, not looking like he's too upset with this performance by Wheeler. Of course, the Reading Phillies, AA affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies, the Reading Fightin' Phils as they're officially known, having opening night up there in the 610. Beautiful place to watch a ball game. Almost the most beautiful patch of grass on earth, in my opinion. It doesn't get any better than sitting in the ballpark and just watching the sunset over top of Carpenter Technology and waiting for the Reading Fightin' Phils to take the field. It is absolutely picturesque baseball there in Reading, Pennsylvania. There's Uncle Scott in the YouTube.com live chat, tipping back the old Miller Lights as he roots for the 12 truck. Let's take a peek here at where Brandon Minto might just be right about now, as we're going to go right in here, taking a look here at the Kraft Macaroni and Cheese number 12 Ford F-150. As we work our way through turns 3 and 4, Bobby Blazer going to have control of the field. He's got a tough competitor and Jacob Schneider over top of him. Blazer hits the restart zone, drops the hammer through the floor, and we are back underway. Blazer has his hands full with Jacob Schneider as Schneider nearly runs him over coming down the backstretch, but manages to dodge out of the way and go to the high side. Jacob Schneider now over top of Bobby Blazer, and we come almost immediately under caution once again, as it looks like half the field just registered as having wrecked. Let's see what happened with Sean Rogers. Oh no. Amanda Price isn't going to be happy with this unless she wants him to come to bed early, as it looks like Rogers gets a bump from Jeremy Paris, bounces off of Tane Hodison, goes up to the wall, and just collects these cars as if he just put his arm out. Oh my God. It looks like the big one just happened at Talladega, which of course we'll be at in a couple of weeks. We'll take another look here from this perspective. Now watch Sean Rogers keep an eye on the 12, as it looks like Brandon Minto's going to squirt away. As Rogers goes up to the top of the racetrack, he turns and collects half the cars. As everybody goes to check up, we see the 8 truck of Alexander Gangler get tied up in this. Let's take a peek from his perspective. And as he sees this breakout in front of him, he stays high, but when he gets bumped from behind is when all of this mess happens. We see the faster pastor sideways on the racetrack. Now Gangler trying to get himself straightened back up there. We'll take another look from Sylvain Jolie and Stoney Benfield as well, as we look to try to pull this back up here. Once again, Benfield pretty far away from the initial wreck. I just want to see how Gangler got himself. Oh, Gangler got pushed by the 30 of Daniel Moynihan. No, that's the 30 of. No, wait. Don't tell me. Literally, don't tell me. I have to look and find it. Mason Hoffner. And we're going to take one more look at it from Hoffner's perspective. Out of Harding, Pennsylvania. I still haven't looked that one up. I got to find that one. As we're going to drop down here right onto the nose of Hoffner. Hoffner was in the middle of trying to throttle up and never even saw the wreck happening, as he got back on the throttle hard and took Alexander Gangler all the way out. Don't look now, though. It looks like JT Real Muto. I'm not sure what just happened here. I'm going to run this back. Zach Wheeler getting ready to deal pitch 100. Looks like something happened with JT Real Muto here in St. Louis. Wheeler worked from the stretch. He delivered. I don't see what happened. I don't understand why Real Muto looks like something hurt him. Maybe? It's going to be here on pitch 102. Everybody geared back up here, getting ready to go back. Green flag racing, 30 to go, 29 at the line, as Bobby Blazer looks to take off one more time here, hauling it down the front stretch. He's got a load of mail to deliver, as he is going to get to the inside and hug as close as he can against the candy cane curb. Blazer leading Jacob Schneider as Schneider looking to the outside now, all but having to lay the fender down on Blazer. And now they're side by side getting ready to exchange paint. Still trying to keep an eye on what might have happened here with JT Realmuto as Jacob Schneider makes the pass. He's now our race leader and will be scored as the race leader as caution number 14 comes out here on lap 173. Caution flags. That's John Rapp. That is what we have going on here tonight. There's a man in the stand with a yellow flag in his hand. Let's take a peek here at him, as he's been a very busy fella here in this flag stand tonight. Right now it looks like he wants to wave his arm directly off of his shoulder. Sir, there's nobody to wave it at. Give it a second. My goodness. Oh, I see what happened with Realmuto now. It looks like he caught one right in the throat. The pitch from Wheeler goes into the dirt and just bounces up right underneath his face protector, his face mask. I wish that they'd run this back so we could maybe see if it caught his throat or his chin. If it's his chin, he just lost a tooth. But that's why you should always wear a throat protector. Oh, yeah, it's the throat. That's a bad one. Here it comes in slow-mo. Oh, right up against the side of his Adam's apple. Well, he's going to be talking like a teenage boy for a couple of days, that's for sure. As somebody who sat behind the plate for 10 years, that is one of the most painful things in the entire world, to get whacked by a ball that you weren't ready to see, bound anywhere but your glove. And it's why I'll tell you what, the hockey style mask might be ugly, but it does a lot to protect that throat area. Don't get me wrong, I still like the two-piece backwards helmet look, but it looks cool, but it's not real safe when you're there trying to protect your throat, especially your Adam's apple, because that is just, for a guy, for those girls that are out there watching, that's painful. I don't care who you are. So Garrett Stubbs going to step in here with a defensive change, as JT going to have to go sit down. And speaking of which, Garrett Stubbs wearing kind of a modified hockey mask, and yet no throat protector. Wheeler's still out on the mound for the Phillies. Kind of interesting as the iRacing.com pace car lights go out. 22 to go at the line as the pace car gets ready to lead us around here. The 14th caution of the evening. The iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road. Jacob Schneider, who has had control of the field for most of the evening, gets the jump over Bobby Blazer, and we're back underway. Blazer in hot pursuit, trying to get himself up to Jacob Schneider again, as Brandon Minto almost had a tight race truck from the very beginning. Tane Hodison steps into third position, but he's going to be challenged by the man in black, Jeremy Paris, as a pair of Chevrolets and a Ford F-150 lead the way here. Tane Hodison, the first Toyota Tundra in the field, as he runs in fourth position tonight. I'll tell you what, this truck series kind of mixes up the manufacturers fairly well, as finally they get Wheeler out of the game. But this truck series manages to mix up the manufacturers fairly well. There's nothing that's a clear and decided favorite here, as Claude Ferland from north of the border going to do battle with the double natural of Rich Jett. here in the 77. He's got Brandon Minto just ahead of him as Minto looks on from behind at Tane Hodison and Benjamin Garrity. Now, the last time we saw anything like this, it was with the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield. As we're going to take a drop back here to Brandon Minto and watch what happens here. As Norman, Oklahoma's very own, a smart race car driver, as he's running right now in 6th position, he knows that there's still an opportunity to get up there and be successful with 18 laps to go here at the line. As he looks at the rear bumper of the Menards number 93 Toyota Tundra driven by Tane Hodison. As Tane looks here, we're going to take a peek from his gearbox back at Brandon Minto, because I'll tell you what, if I see Brandon Minto in the rear view, I'm pretty sure I'm getting nervous. That's for sure, as we look back at the number 12 Ferda F-150, of course, with some Kraft macaroni and cheese. Of course, we call it Kraft macaroni and cheese, and Claude Ferland from north of the border calls it Kraft dinner. I've never had just mac and cheese for dinner. Well, I guess maybe I have. Who knows? I probably have. Oh! All of a sudden, Claude Ferland gets tagged by Stoney Benfield, and around we go. Stoney can't stop hitting stuff all of a sudden as he tags Claude Ferland. Let's take a look here. Definitely not intentional. Stoney's not that kind of a driver. As he looks to the inside of Claude Ferland, he's not over driving. He just gets a little tight there and catches that left rear quarter panel. And once he hits him, he just can't get wound up to stop hitting other stuff. As we take a peek here from the nose cam, if I can click the right buttons here, go back to this replay here right from the hood of Stoney Benfield, we can see he's just going to get a little tight on exit, and there it is as he just catches the 43, and this is where all kinds of hell and havoc break loose. And everybody's going to fight their way by the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, from Albemarle, North Carolina. So that's going to put Jacob Schneider side by side with Bobby Blazer. Once again, of course, Blazer representing the 717 out of York, Pennsylvania. I believe it was Hoffner that was also from Pennsylvania that I had just discovered, so we're going to take a look and see where he might be from here in PA. A lot of Pennsylvania drivers in the SNN family of Cup Series racing. Of course, we've got Joe Stafford out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in the Cup Series. And now all of a sudden the keyboard stops wanting to work. That's fantastic. Thanks, Windows. Here we go. Apparently, Harding, Pennsylvania is up toward Pittston, which is way up in northeastern Pennsylvania, just outside of Scranton, Wilkes-Barre. Or if you're from this neck of the woods, is it Wilkes-Barre, Wilkes-Barre, Wilkes-Barre? I've heard all kinds of different stuff. Either way, it's just outside of Scranton, which we won't talk about why we know what Scranton is. I don't need to start that debate. $12 laps to go here as the iRacing.com pace car leads us around on caution number 15. Every caution has been for cause tonight. Each of the cautions at the end of stages 1 and 2 where Jacob Schneider happened to bring home the green and white checkered flag, and those were for cause as well. Each stage, those cautions came right before the end of the stage. So, of course, every one of these 15 cautions tonight has been for cause. Jacob Schneider leads us as we go side by side, getting ready to rack them, stack them, and go 2 by 2 into the arc. And if you need an arc, I know a guy. And I think so does Stoney Benfield here in the 75 as we look through this field. Each of these drivers has really tried to earn their way into the positions that they're at tonight. Nobody's been gifted anything. Nobody's accidentally fallen into good luck as the iRacing.com pace car peels down pit road. We hit the Geico restart zone at the double red line, and here we go. 10 laps to go now as Jacob Schneider leaves Jeremy Paris and Bobby Blazer in the dust as the man in black overtakes Blazer going down the backstretch. He's looking to try to get a run over top of his Chevrolet teammate, and all of a sudden, he shuffles Blazer to the outside, bringing along Benjamin Garrity, as Garrity wants to get in here on this dance. Late in the race now with 9 laps to go. Garrity starting to look on from behind, as now he's gotten around and gotten Bobby Blazer all the way back here into 10th position, as Bobby was just up here battling for the podium. And now Ben Garrity secures 3rd position away. He's got about 4/10 of a second back to Tane Hodison in the 93. As we take a look here with 8 laps to go, things finally starting to heat up as Garrity, as long as he can keep himself level-headed here, he can bring home 3rd position on the podium tonight. Tane Hodison runs in 4th. Brandon Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma, running in 5th position right now. Rich Jett in the double natural, running in running the 77 there out of Smithfield, Pennsylvania. Schwanksville, Pennsylvania. Sorry about that. I don't want to get these towns wrong, especially when from my state. Paul Hill out of Jacksonville, Florida, from Grease Monkey Motorsports, runs the 6 right now in 7th position. Daniel Moynihan out of Boston, Massachusetts, running in 8th. Ron Fitting from Sumter, South Carolina, in 9th. And Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor, runs in 10th position, rounding out that top 10. Jacob Schneider starting to run away from Jeremy Paris, as he's now about 9/10 of a second, nearly 9/10 of a second ahead of Paris. So you can throw a blanket over Jacob Schneider and kind of put him in a little fence of his own. The Phillies trying to come back offensively, not working out too well. 1 on, 1 out. As Ben Garrity runs in 3rd position, he's about a half second ahead of Tane Hodison. So like I had said, with 4 laps to go now, he's going to try to keep himself level-headed, while Daniel Moynihan still duking it out with Ron Fitting in the number 3 Grease Monkey Chevrolet Silverado, as we run down the back chute. 3 to go here at the line as Jacob Schneider crosses and goes into turns 1 and 2. Schneider getting a nice rotation through 1 and 2. He has not made many mistakes, if any at all, tonight. Paul Hill now trying to get a piece of Rich Jett here in the Godzilla machine. 3 Chevrolets in a row. It's Jett, Hill, and Fitting. And they're not done just yet as Jacob Schneider crosses the start-finish line. 2 laps to go. The popsicle sticks are in the air. Jacob Schneider running out of turn number 3. As he comes out of turn 4, the white flag is in the air. The popsicle sticks are down, and we are racing back to checkers. Jacob Schneider dominated this entire race tonight as the checkered flag comes out from the flag stand. Schneider coming across the start-finish line captures the checkered flag here at Martinsville. He's followed by Jeremy Paris and Ben Garrity on the podium. Tane Hodison, Brandon Minto, Rich Jett, Paul Hill, Ron Fitting, Stoney Benfield, and Bobby Blazer rounding out your top 10. Two in a row for Jacob Schneider, as he was dominant at COTA a couple of weeks ago. Of course, we had the off week built in there, as now I'm trying to get a hold of those statistics. This is going to be Schneider's 2nd win of the season, as he will be our first repeat winner here in the Truck Series. We've had Jacob Fifield, Jeremy Paris, Stoney Benfield, Ethan Eckert, all winning races from weeks 1 through 4, and now here we are in week number 6 with a back-to-back winner for the first time this year. As we're going to get ourselves set up here, it looks like Jacob Schneider going to be celebrating in the middle of the infield, and anywhere he can get this truck on the digital format here at Jacob, I don't know if you can go down that way, but let me try to get a hold of him on the radio. Hey, Jacob, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Dave.
What a win tonight as you bring home the checkered flag here at Martinsville. I mean, what a run. It's been dominant from the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, that was an amazing race. Just no man and machine, whereas one tonight doesn't happen too often.
No, and you know, here's the thing. we see this so often where, maybe we have several lead changes, but really it wasn't the lead that changed very much. It was everybody that you were racing around. How was it to have so many different drivers at different times, kind of in your space or in your bubble?
Yeah, that was a little nerve-wracking because I knew Jeremy was going to race me clean. If he wanted to wreck me, he would have a long time ago. So I trusted him behind me, but some of the others I didn't really know. And then there was some different strategy about halfway through that last stage. I had a race from, I think I restarted 6th to get back to the lead. And yeah, that went smoother than I thought it would. It didn't go so smooth for some of the other guys that pitted.
No, I mean, the thing is, when I saw you come down pit road, I thought, geez, here's a guy that's just been logging laps all night, in clean air, and all of a sudden you're going to come back here and have to fight through traffic. I mean, for those of us that know, sometimes getting through traffic at Martinsville is like the Schuylkill Expressway at rush hour here in Philly.
Yeah, I knew I was in danger. I think I had to do it to win the race, though. So it was the right call. But yeah, a little sketchy, obviously.
Yeah, and making the right call, especially in a situation like this, at a place like this, is half the battle, trying to get it done the right way, and the right way you did for sure tonight. So congrats here. Now, next week we turn our attention, first off, you're the first driver this season to go back-to-back, and you're the first driver this season to notch a second win. You've brought home the win from a road course 2 weeks ago at COTA. Now you bring home a win on a short track. What are you thinking as we go to the 1.5 miles at Texas Motor Speedway?
I think I'll be good. It won't be like COTA or here. There's so much draft involved. There's no way to pull away. But it'll be a race. I'll have to fight for it. I got the pole and won the first stage at Vegas before getting wrecked out during stage 2. So I got speed in the 1.5 miles as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I looked at whoever does the scheduling for NASCAR clearly doesn't own a globe. You race in COTA, you go to Virginia. You spend 2 weeks racing in Virginia and then turn around and go right back to Texas. In real life, that's got to be difficult. Thank goodness here on iRacing, all you have to do is click a different track.
Yeah, it's not very good logistics in real life, I guess. But they got enough money to spend. We don't.
That's true.
So.
Well, speaking of money, who do you need to shout out tonight and thank for this run here at Martinsville?
Shout out Ryko again. Just obviously a killer setup. Q speed, short run speed, long run. We got it all. Got to thank my family. I think they're watching your broadcast. We appreciate that.
And trust me, I appreciate those that are at home, welcoming us in, whether on the TV, the phone, or wherever you happen to be watching us, because I enjoy being able to talk with the fans just as much as I enjoy talking to you. So congratulations, Jacob. Good luck next week as we go to Texas Motor Speedway, one of my favorite racetracks. So we'll see you there, and good luck.
Thank you, Dave. Good night.
Jacob Schneider going to head on down there for a famous Martinsville hot dog as we get a hold of none other than the man in black, Jeremy Parrish, driver of the 05. Hey, Jeremy, it's Dave. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Man, what a run you had tonight. I mean, Flowery Branch is proud of you once again. You don't notch your win tonight as you'd like to. Of course, you've already got that one back in Atlanta, but the Paperclip is a heck of a track to finish second at.
Yeah, with Jacob out there, he was definitely the class of the field, and running second to him is a feat in itself. So I'm proud of that one.
Yeah, I mean, take us through this final stage because, I was saying to Schneider that, it was him basically dominating the lead all night, but there were a bunch of you that were kind of rotating in and out, from second through fifth most of the night. How is it to be racing around so many different drivers for so many different periods of time on the racetrack?
Most of them are good. The one that kind of bumfuzzled me was that restart where most of us pitted, and some guys that have been running 25th through 27th thought it was a good idea to stay out, which is fine with them, but we got ran over, and I was trying to stay off of Chris there, and I think he's got an 18-wheeler shifter in that thing, so I'm gonna donate him a shifter.
Listen, Chris had a frustrating night last night in the Xfinity Series, so tonight, maybe a little bit different as he finishes 23rd, but, next week we head on down to Texas. What are you thinking as we go down there into Dallas-Fort Worth?
Yeah, I'm going to try to get some practice. I didn't get much practice at Martinsville. I was on spring break last week with the kids, so we'll try to get some practice and give Jacob a run for his money. It's fun running with somebody that's that good, so I enjoy the challenge.
Absolutely. Notching your second top 5 win on the season. Congratulations for that. And before we cut you loose, as always, who do you need to tip your helmet to and thank for tonight's run?
Just thank my teammate Mitch out there and my teammate Pat that's coming one day. He's had some internet issues, so he's coming around, and everybody at Brittany Steers Racing.
All right, my friend, congratulations. We'll see you next week at Texas Motor Speedway.
All right, thanks, Dave.
That, of course, the voice of Jeremy Paris, the man in black in the 05 Chevrolet Camaro. And last but certainly not least here on our podium, Ben Garrity, driver of the number 65 Chevrolet Silverado. Hey, Ben, it's Dave. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, listen, what are you, 12?
15.
Okay, close enough. 15 years old, and you finished in the top 3 in this league. Congratulations, my man. I mean, what a run tonight. How do you find yourself here in the top 3?
It was a lot of just avoiding wrecks and finding ways to maneuver around. It was really hard to pass other trucks throughout the entire race. Just ended up getting it done, though.
Yeah, I mean, you're running with the big boys in this league. I mean, a lot of cautions tonight. That's something that we don't usually see, but in this league at least. But, here we are at the end. You've managed to go up 6 positions after qualifying in 9th. What did you have under the hood, and were you trying to make, adjustments all night long, or was this just something that was set it, forget it, and drive like hell?
Set it and forget it. Setups from Gorilla Gas, it's great every week producing setups.
All right, my man. Well, listen, next week we head on down to Texas Motor Speedway, one of my favorite racetracks. 2 weeks ago we're at COTA on the road course. This week we're on a short track here in Martinsville. Now next week we kind of get into that NASCAR bread and butter. What kind of mile and a half strategy are you thinking about as we turn our attention back to that traditional mile and a half?
I mean, you got to have pace now. It's not really avoiding wrecks as much because it's going to be cleaner than short tracks, so you're going to have to be able to pass there.
All right, young fella. Well, listen, congratulations on the P3 finish tonight, getting on the podium here in the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series. Who do you need to thank and shout out to for tonight?
Gorilla Gas Setups for the great setups week by week, and anybody watching me right now, my mom, my grandparents, thank you.
My man, listen, it's always, you might be 15, but I mean, Brandon Minto, his mom tunes in every week. His Uncle Scott's tuning in. Keeping that family engaged in what you're doing is some of the most important stuff that you can do in this sport. So congratulations and good luck next week at Texas.
Yeah, thank you.
That, of course, the unchanged voice of Ben Garrity, driver of the number 65. Kind of took me by surprise there, folks, because we don't usually have such young folks here in this league. And quite frankly, the young man showed how to be a disciplined driver tonight and get through the field. So a tip of the cap to him for having such poise and such discipline getting around this half-mile paperclip-shaped racetrack in Virginia. Before we get out of here, of course, we want to take one final look at our race results here as we pull them up here on the screen. Jacob Schneider brings home the checkered flag from Ryko Performance. He's going to wind up going home in P1. He's joined on the podium by Jeremy Paris and Benjamin Garrity. 1, 2, 3 they go. Tane Hodison and Brandon Minto round out your top 5, while Rich Jett finishes in 6th. Paul Hill brings home 7th position, while P8 goes to Ron Fitting. Stoney Benfield and Bobby Blazer round out your top 10, while Daniel Moynihan and Mason Hoffner finish 11th and 12th. 13th and 14th go to Alexander Gangler and McAdoo, Pennsylvania's very own John Wilco, respectively, as Jamie Beasley and Claude Furlan come home in 15th and 16th. 17th and 18th go to Matt Mackin and Mitchell Davies, while 19th goes to my brother from another mother, Randall Watkins from the Miami-Dade Fire and Rescue Department down there in the 305. Sean Rogers makes up the rest of your top 20 as Gabriel Lafreniere from north of the border finishes in 26 in the Oxmoor 06 F-150. Sylvain Jolie comes home in 22nd, while of course, chief cook and bottle washer of the SNN family of racing series, Chris Claude, comes home in 23rd. Jeff Carson out of Cross Junction, Virginia, about a 4-hour drive from here, finishes 24th, while Chris Custer and Noah Hamilton come home in 25th and 26th. Nicholas Casey and Will Young notched 27th and 28th on their belts tonight, while Bennett Allen and Anthony Savignano finished 29th and 30th in the field. So it's been an interesting night of racing here at Martinsville Speedway, and I can't be more thankful for you folks at home who have made us a part of your evening. Of course, checking in the youtube.com live chat, always being engaged with us here, as I'm just so happy that each of you has made the effort to hang out with us tonight. So for myself, Dave Regal, here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, I want to say thanks for watching, and as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.